You go with me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Positional Play. The season started, hasn't it? It is rather busy at the moment off the field, but we are here to talk about tactics today, team and individual. There is plenty to dissect, not overanalyze, and that's the first thing we'll say on this show. It is one game, official game into the season, so we're just looking at sort of trends or anything we identified. It does not mean, as much as the reaction can be extreme online, definitives either way. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from 25-degree Edinburgh, which Barts is struggling to believe. Where are you, Barts? How hot is it there?
I think we hit 32 today, which I know you guys are not going to like because it's winter here. But it's just one of them weird days where you end up at over 30 for a Wednesday day. But yeah, say it a bit.
To be fair, I should be saying this, people, 25 and the sun shining, barbecue will be, well, maybe tomorrow now because of the time anyway. But we'll see. We'll get into it then, people. The 4-2 victory over Bournemouth. And for those that can't see it on social media, you think of the starting lineup here, Barts. There was, of course, Alisson was in goal. Important to say, Canate, VVD, Kirkez and Frimpong as a back four. But we saw Kirkez invert largely, didn't we? That's why it's laid out on the screen, so we'll be talking about it that way. We had Szoboszlai on the right, Maka on the left side of a double pivot, Florian Wirtz, number 10, Gakpo left, Stella right, and Hugo Eckert. Okay, so that was our starting lineup that we're going to look at. And Barts, what was breaking up the first half? We end the first half 1-0 up, and there's a little bit of a lucky ricochet for Hugo, but he earned it. I thought, we'll talk about him as man of the match. But that first half, there's not really, it felt like, a huge amount happened. So, we seemed largely in control. Yeah, they had the odd chance when Semenyo skies it, but some nice bits from Salah. It seemed like a quietish half. We made a few chances, nothing too dramatic. Do the stats bear that out?
Yes and no. I would say we had, I agree with you. When I first watched it, I was like, we're all right there. We had periods we capped him in. There was the recycling going on. There was introverts trying to flick it around Mo, and Frimpong was trying to join in. And I think even before, like 5 minutes in, we've had a couple of really good chances. I think Mo had a great one where he tried to bend it and the keeper saves it. You think, all right, we're doing like you're right. But if you do look at the stats for the first half, though, I mean, some of the key things like big chances, right? So that's if something is over 0.2 of an XG, right? So that is, they had 2 in the first half, which doesn't really suggest we had a load of control. Because we created 3, cool, and they created 2. They also created 0.8 XG, which is really high, really high. And throughout the game, they created over 1. So, and they converted that at nearly 75%. Now, typically, control would mean a defensive performance where they're converting that at 50%. So, I would say, did we have more possession? Yeah, it's about 60-40. Did we have more time on the ball? Yeah. Did we have more touches? We had 360-ish to their 260. So, we have more time on the ball. I just think, and I'm sure we'll come on to it, there's some little things there where when they did attack, they got some really good opportunities. I mean, in terms of shots as well, fairly even. We had 7, they had 6. So it's one of the, I think you were in the ground, but we were very close. I think to a couple of times to pull it off. A couple of worldly goals, right?
Yeah,
there was a
nice
couple
moves.
Of really good moves, and it didn't happen. And unfortunately, that means that doesn't register as a shot, doesn't register as XG, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Conversely, because they're quite a well-oiled machine, when they went and attacked, they got something out of it. They got shot off. They got the ball across the box that Kirkez doesn't know his man, and the guy skies it. And there's another couple. I think it's one of the PK spots someone puts up the bar as well. So you kind of and Phil Till again, was in our favour, but only just. It's 45, 46, 54. So again, at home, typically we go towards a 60-40. So, which is the amount of time you spend in each other's final thirds, right? So typically, if we were dominant and in control, you'd expect us to spend more time in their half and then more time in their in third. And that wasn't quite there for the first half. So I think we had some really good opportunities, but because it wasn't quite anything, it didn't quite happen, and therefore we allowed them to have some periods where they created some really good. They created some really good. To be fair, look at the stats line. If that had been 1 or a half time, the stats would have gone, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
And as fans, we'd have been like outrageous, but I think the stats kind of suggest that 1-1 probably was a fairer result at half time.
Which, you could argue, because we have a bit of luck with the Ekatike rebound. He earned it, don't get me wrong, but there, like you said, you think about it, Semenyo skies that one across where he probably should have done better, and that feels so bad saying he should have done better. Thankfully, he didn't, especially as he scores 2 at Anfield, but it is the reality of it. And I suppose as we move into the second half, this is where it all kicks off a little bit, because there's 4 goals in this second half. There's subs, and we've got galore. We've got to go almost through this, people, step by step to break it down. And I mean, let's sort of give the highlights, Barts. Gakpo gets a good goal quite early in the second half after a nice link-up with Ekatike for the assist, cuts in and bends it beautifully into the bottom right corner in front of the cop. So that's nice. Then subs come. And I think this is where we're going to have to divvy really into it, Bart. At 60 minutes, and we find this out later, Frimpong, we're told, feels his hamstring. Kirkhead, already on a yellow, comes off. And the 2 that come on to replace them, Robbo goes left back and Endo goes right back. Now, I'm going to be honest. We'll focus on this first of all. We're in the ground and we're like, Endo at right back. A bit like, surely, and this is what we thought would happen. Actually, pre-season, maybe Endo to shore it up and battle in the middle and to box like back. And people had talked about it like, I think a bit dramatically, but compared it to Valverde going in. But it's this period from sort of 60 up to, I think, 72 when he changes it.
Yeah.
We seem to lose control, I'll be honest there. It's not trying to have a dig at Endo, but he has certain skill sets and the things he doesn't. They target him. For 60 sort of set to 72 or that sub, did the stats bear that out? Because it just felt like that was their period.
100%. I mean, the possession's 50-50, which again is unheard of at Anfield, right? Field tilt is in their favour. So they spend more time in our defensive third, their attacking third, than we do the other way. So again, that bears that out. They outshoot us 4-2 in that time. They have 1 big chance at 0. And they convert threat to XG at a rate of 184%.
Jeez.
So for that period of time. So they fundamentally score 2 goals from 0.88 XG, which is mental when you think about it. Right, that's and from about 0.48 threat as well. So they are super aggressive in that period of time. I think down their left, they absolutely kill Endo for the first goal. And then we just can't get back. Can't stop the cross. It comes in. I think BVD's has a moment where he probably should go with Semedo and doesn't, and he scores. And it's a little bit of a. It's just not good defensive play. We talk about numbers back and the rest of it, but that first one, I actually think we had the right numbers back.
Yeah.
It's just the wrong personnel, if that makes sense. You know, if it had been the change that you and I have just, well, you pointed out, we said pre-pot, Dom at the right back and Endo there, I would have backed Dom to be able to go with the left winger, or at least get there and stop a cross. But what actually happens, because Endo gets done, I think Ibu gets pulled out and tries to stop the cross, doesn't stop the cross. And then the BVD's left 2-on-1 in the middle. And he just picks the wrong man. Sounds a bit silly, but he fundamentally doesn't go with the guy who scores, goes with the other guy, and then it's a simple tapping. And even then, you look at that shot, and this is going to sound really harsh, and people are going to shoot me for it, but I mean, their first goal on 63 he actually reduces the quality. So it's a 0.45 XG. Post shot is 0.35. So he reduces the quality of it. So I'm kind of saying maybe Ali could have done something. I don't know. That's if you reduce the quality of the chance, it's not as like 0.45 you'd expect someone to score, but he pulls that down with the finish he chooses. So he gives Ali a chance, and he doesn't have that. So yeah, it's not our best. It's not all we're used to seeing. First of all, personally, I would have expected us to stop the cross. And then secondly, if he does come in, I would have expected us to have all the forwards in the box marked up, and they weren't. And then Ali has made maybe we've got used to Ali putting up worldies, but I would have expected Ali maybe to make a slightly better effort at it. But, it's 1-0. I think the poor thing from me, I don't know how it was, it felt like they were then attacking on us a lot in that period, and just every time we lost possession, I don't know whether you saw Slot post game, but for the seconds, we have too many bodies forward for a start. And Dom, the guy in the pivot, he's on the edges, and he's right on the edge of the box, I think, at this point. And Endo's up as well. I think he was supporting up there. But basically, Dom tries something rather than play it safe and just recycle possession and keep them in the final third. He tries a flick, and then they just break. I think they got 4-on-2, and we've got 3 chasing back. And if we had 4-on-2, you'd expect us to score. So them scoring from 4-on-2 situation is not something you're shocked about. It's also a great long way shot. So yeah, I think it's just things we didn't quite get the balance right, and I think players just didn't make the right decision. Like Dom trying to flick there when he's pretty much last man at a defensive pivot. It's not the smartest thing he's ever going to do in the world, right? Whereas if he just played it safe, they wouldn't have got out.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't a great period. It left us twos each, and Slot then has to change it, doesn't it?
Yeah, even with the first goal they scored to make it 2-1, I think almost like I almost want to give VVD a bit of mitigation, because you could see it from where we were. I was right at the top of the sort of 305. She had a straight down view from the cop, and you could see Virgil almost, and people have almost made fun of it bizarrely. He kind of does a back, because sometimes like that famous one where Sissoko skies it and he's marking too. He tries to do a similar situation a little bit. He's almost, I know he's coming down the left. He's almost picking where am I going a little bit. Unfortunately, I've got to be honest, I thought Robbo's been done. Literally, Semenyo's seen him, he switched off halfway, and he's gone, and he just can't get back. And you're right, almost as Semenyo connects with it, it's a weird one, because you're expecting him at that pace just to smash the goal off his hinges type of thing. But it surprises everyone, because he kind of half connects. And that one where everyone's like, and then it p-rolls a little bit into the net. So, but that happens. It's all how we're doing there. This, though, Barts, I think is crucial, because you're right. Endo is getting torn apart at right back. And the changes he makes are, importantly, Maka comes off and Hugo Ekitike, which people were screaming about in the ground, and maybe in terms of sort of fitness. But here's what's important. Joe Gomez went right back in the 72nd minute. And we weren't perfect from there, but it gave us a semblance of control. Curtis Jones went to the middle there, and almost in a weird way. I don't even know if this is exactly, people will say it was slightly, but almost it becomes a little bit like that, almost, so to speak, like a two almost the system that he used to play at times, where he has, people call it the box midfield there, don't they, or the two forwards?
Yeah, and the two forwards kick on a bit, don't they? But I know what you mean. The two wide players kick on a little bit, but it's the box in the middle, 100%.
Yeah, and you could tell he was thinking, I've got Joe Gomez now, a defender at right back, so I'm playing a proper back four. These two are experienced as well. and with a bit of magic and things. And then, of course, it's 82nd minute where I should even sing for dragging him on, shouldn't I? Da-da-da-da. As he comes in, Federico, he's on the pitch. But I am intrigued when we talk second half. 72 minutes, Maka and Ekatike come off, which people are okay. But, in that terms, Gomez is on and Curtis Jones. In that sort of 72nd onwards towards when Chiesa gets one in the 87th, does it show that we got more control there?
I think after the goal, 100%. Also for the second goal, just to say, Robbo, as Slot said post-interview, was way too high. Robbo should have been nowhere near the box.
Yeah.
And he was. He should have been back in ref defence next to Endo, right? So it should have been two centre-halves, Endo, Robbo, and potentially Gomez.
Yeah.
And what ended up was Gomez starts going up because the ball is that side of the attack, right? So he's trying to offer support. But for some reason, Robbo ends up making a forward run as well.
Yeah.
So then you've got, I think we had 8 players in their box when it's 2-1 and they're on the rock, which shouldn't, and Slot said this post-interview, it shouldn't have happened, right? The two pivots shouldn't have been that high, and Robbo definitely shouldn't have been that high. And if that was the case, regardless of the flick that Dom tried to do and shouldn't have done, right, you would have had 5 players behind the ball, which would have matched their full breaking, and we would have been able to deal with it, right? But for whatever reason, Robbo, probably one of the second most experienced player on the pitch, decides to make a forward run at that particular time. I don't know, but anyway, no. From that period on, so from about let's just say 75 onwards, we're dominant in it in all of it. I mean, I talk about Bournemouth going up, right, taking threat to XG conversion to over 80% for that period. They scored 2 goals. For us, we turned that out to 120% for the last 10 minutes. So, and we scored 2 goals, right? We scored good goals. We created XG. We created big chances. So, it's kind of it was a good period for us. We turned field tilt from being 50-50, which again, or slightly in Bournemouth's favour, to going 80-20, 80-20 for the last period of time. So we really went, do you know what? We ain't losing this game.
Yeah.
But there you go. You ain't getting out. And we pinned them in. And you can see, if you watch the video back, I know you were there as well, there's a real pinned in for that last 15, 20 minutes. They couldn't get out, really. And we got things sorted, I think. But it's just unfortunate. I'm not taking 2 goals away from the lad because he played well. I thought Samaya played well from there. I'm not going to knock him, but it just took 2 goals from him for us to go, do you know what? This is what we used to do. We used to stop teams getting out, and we got back to doing it. And it was, we created good threat, good XG. We outshot them 5-0 in that last period of time. Wow. We had low box touches, over 10 for that period of time, and only had 2. So, it flipped us back to being completely dominant, and it was good to see us get a reward with a new song, a new hero rising from the ashes of a career. Was great to see, and then Mo finishing it off with his regulatory opening day goal, right?
On his right foot from the left side of the area as well, which is not what I think anyone would have bet on, if we're honest. So, I mean, such a strange one for the team one. It's fair to say, in summary, first half balance then, when you do it, maybe a bit of fortune in the goal, but, home, you earn it, there's positive shoots from there.
Great finish as well, by the way.
Yeah, brilliant, well controlled. Wait for the keeper, the eyes, beautiful. I love that. The second half, I think you've got to say this, you almost have to divvy it up into 3 periods, don't you? Before the subs, where we make it 2-0, it's quite nice for us overall.
Yep.
The first set of subs, where it goes to shit and they go completely wrong. Then the second set of subs, and it's us towards the end. It really is that distinct, the second half especially, isn't it?
100%, yeah. It's just, it's amazing. We talk about the league and the rest of it, but that's how quickly a game can go away from you.
Yeah.
It's literally, we're talking about 62 to 72 or 73.
Yeah.
That's a 10-minute period where the game went from being 3 points to Liverpool to draw state and Bournemouth having the momentum. This is a horrible word, but you know what I mean? That's how quickly things can change. And thankfully, Slot proved last season, and he's carried on doing that he's happy to rectify mistakes and go, do you know what? What's left in my tool bag? I've got A, B, C, D. You get on and we'll go win the game. And he did. And I just don't have to do that too often because it just raw from the end of these things. But we got the result end of the day, which is what we need. We just need to fix the little bits in between to stop us having to go to, the bottom drawer of the tool bag.
Yeah, do you know what? Opening days aren't supposed to be like this either, people. You forget. The opening day last season was that nice, comfortable second half against Ipswich. 2-0, looks tight. But do you know what? There was excitement all around there, wasn't